To welcome you to the February 15th, 2023 City Council meeting. Roll call of officers. To my left, Heather Newsome, Dee Cragen on the phone. To my right, Neil Diaz. And by phone, Caleb Stapp.
Here.
Okay. Community Service Director Roger Krieger. City Clerk Treasurer Debbie Cragen. We will stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic of America and for the republic one nation under God, with liberty and justice for all. Yeah, Dee, you were a little ahead of us.
Sorry.
Words I saw in contract.
I tried just normal rhythm.
Make her lead it.
There you go.
We should.
Smart. Problem solved.
Okay. Item 4, approval of agenda.
Motion to approve.
A second.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Item 5, approval of February 1st, 2023 regular council meeting minutes.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Item 6, new business. Letter A, Deer Park Golf Course 2022 year-end review. Craig, you have the floor.
Man, you just stuck me right in there right away, didn't you?
I did. I want to believe.
Just want to say thanks for all the, working together, and it's been a pretty good situation for both of us, I think. Last year was, as far as revenue-wise, was the best year we've ever had by far. It was fantastic, which was good. The bad thing was on my side of it, was with inflation and gas prices, fertilizer prices, and a bunch of repairs. My side wasn't as good, but I'm making some adjustments this year to kind of make up for that. Basically, in the past, I've probably raised the green fees $1 a year, maybe $2 every now and then. I'm actually raising them up $5 a round this year, so, which is still very reasonable compared to a lot of places, but things haven't really gone down much. So my bottom line was way down from last year, but this should help, and it should help the city too, because you guys get a percentage of a certain amount of overreach, so should help you guys too, but should get me back on track as far as that goes. If you look, you can see where we did, your portion was over $800 and some thousand for carts and green fees. And on the next page, you can see where it was $867,000, and then the base was $625. So basically, it's $242,000. You guys get 20%. So come April, you guys will be getting a check from me for $48,475, which is very good. Plus the $15,000. If you look on the next page, my lease payment's $15,000. So I paid you guys we'll be paying you guys $63,475. And just want to thank you guys for, you guys have helped out with the budget to help improve the golf course. If you look on the one page, it's all the things in the past few years you guys did. Last year we did the ponds, cattail trees removal, repaired the cart paths, and then basically we're trying to do the front of the clubhouse and stuff last year that we just couldn't get cement and get it done. So we're kind of doing something. We postponed it till this year, and we've actually got the front already dug up, and so we're going to get everything ready to go and try to work around it as far as the golfers go. We didn't really want to do it last year, but this year we're just going to kind of work around it and get it all tore up, get it ready to go, and when they can get in there, they can pour the cement and get everything all cleaned up. So hopefully we can get that done in a short amount of time. Basically, the next page, it just shows my expenses that I had. I mean, it was a crazy year. It was just like everything, everything was falling apart, basically. A lot of equipment repairs. I did buy some newer golf carts, 18 of them, so to kind of get rid of some of those older ones, the ones that weren't looking very good. So that was a good improvement. And basically this year I've got a new greens mower coming in because ours are, what, they're 1995s, I think, or something like that. So, so it's, you know, it was a great, it was very nice to see the potential of what the course can do, and it's been, you know, ever since COVID, golf's kind of been booming, and I don't really see it slowing down unless the economy gets so bad people can't afford to play. But even then, you know, public golf courses still do pretty well. So, but it was a good year. It was, you know, I'm glad I had a good year because, like I said, the expenses were up, but we still got by, and it's going to be, you know, should make up for it with the raising of the prices this year and get kind of back on track and go from there. Anybody got questions? Or?
Yeah, I see Brad tore everything out. My Brad from 17 tore everything out. And is Lodgenus doing the concrete work?
What's that?
Is Lodgenus doing the concrete work?
I don't know who Terry's got.
Usually.
Yeah, I think that's probably who it was. I know he did the country club out there when they did that.
Are you looking at a tentative schedule for completion of that?
Not really. A lot of it's going to depend on weather. You know, as soon as I know Terry, I talked to Terry, he said he was going to get a hold of him and get it first thing on the schedule. And our plan is to try to get everything that we can laid out, maybe just leave the cart path there for now, and then if we know that, if we know that we can get concrete, we can go in one day and take that asphalt out and boom, and then get it poured and get it done. So it shouldn't be, I mean, it's going to be a little bit of a headache at the beginning, you know, shuffling people around, but you know, once it's done, it'll be way nicer. It's going to clean things up and be a lot nicer.
Dee, do you have any questions for Craig? Dee? She muted herself. Kayla, do you have any questions?
I was on mute. I said, no, I don't have any comments. I'm just very proud of them and doing.
Okay. Kayla, do you have any questions for Craig?
No, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody in the audience have any questions? Any of my ladies club members have any questions?
Last year, we had talked about irrigation and needing another pump.
Yeah, we've talked about it.
Has that gotten into the...
Not yes and no. I mean, there's other things that we're trying to get done. I mean, that's a very expensive.
Oh, we got all this money, you know.
We do?
Yeah.
No, we talked about it this winter.
Well, we're looking at $250,000 for that pump?
I don't know anymore. I'd have to look. It's probably close to, I know at one time it was around that 140, 150, but there's some other things that you got to do to get it going. I mean, you got to clean the pond up, and
because right now the pump is not in necessity.
the pump is not in there. We did put the wiring and everything's there. We did that when I first kind of got there. It's been about 5-6 years ago. We got all the wire, so the power and everything is there. Just a matter of, you know, getting the pump put in, and there's a lot of stuff to do besides that. But it would definitely help matters out as far as water usage. I know would go down just because we wouldn't have to water during the day sometimes like we have to do now because we've only got the one pump, you know. And then it's nice to have a backup if something does happen to that other pump. I mean, we've got by. It's just, you know, it would be nice to definitely get that in eventually. I mean, something, there's gonna be some more expenses down the road, unfortunately, irrigation, it's 27 years old and, so there will be some more costs coming down the road. But I know we've talked about the water from the sewer and that type of stuff that, eventually maybe being able to use that water and stuff, which would be
Fantastic.
great. Yeah, would be great. Other places have used it. It's kind of it's kind of free water, but then the thing that with that water is they've found out that you basically have to add things to the water as far as, more fertilizer, more different things, just because that water is so pure after it goes through there. It's different than regular, water out of the ground. Basically, it's a lot cleaner, but it would still be
cheaper.
Yeah, it would still be a good thing, that's for sure. So,
Thank you, sir.
you betcha. Thank you.
Welcome. Okay, next up, item 9, ordinances, second reading, public input. Letter A, ordinance 2023-014, the 2023 budget amendment reserve fund. We take public input.
What exactly is that?
What it is, we had a surplus of 2.4, and they want to tentatively put in a splash pad.
Is that in replacement of the kiddie pool
It would be
or in addition to?
replacement.
What are you going to do with the little kids, the babies in the diapers?
That's a good question.
Well, I was just thinking that,
This has not been voted on yet.
okay,
This is just an amendment to it.
I understand.
Okay.
But
Is this-
there was a couple things that I was concerned living in the neighborhood was, I heard you're going to fence, part of that $750,000 is you're going to fence the entire park.
No.
Besides this splash pad, got it out, what else is going to be done to the park to make it more family friendly, secure?
That's
so
a
that we
bike
don't
pass.
have-
Tentatively, we had bike pass. The
Because right now,
engineer
families
has-
can't
it
bring
has
their
to be-
kids.
It has to be drawn up and engineered. That is not done yet.
Okay.
So that would be part of the $950,000.
Good.
My question is, what you can do with the swimming pool in 3 years?
Well, put in a splash pad, it only makes sense that we need to improve our pool also.
It's not cost effective to do that pool anymore. We're spending a lot of money on it.
Then they
For 2
both go
months.
somewhere else.
What's that?
Then they both go somewhere else.
I'm not against a splash pad, but
Yeah.
like I say, we could spend that $900,000 somewhere else.
Well, I agree with you,
I agree
and
too.
I was asked tonight about the kiddie pool, and I said, I have no idea. And then it was brought up about diapers and, yeah, good point.
It hasn't been designed yet, so I can't answer any of those questions.
Okay, but the fence around the park is now off the table as far as you know?
77,000 or 82,000, Brad, something like that.
Well, and I mean, that's just the fence. You haven't even
We haven't moved the lot lines or
had it
trees, took out
surveyed
trees.
or
All the other expenses that go
Right.
above and beyond the material.
Yeah.
I
There is.
don't know at what point, the questions can be posed or should be posed, the timing of it all. I just know that what we have right now, since I moved here 30 years ago, I do know what it was. How could I best put this? If I was in the same position that I was for the first half of my 30 years here, I would not now let my children, nor take my children with me to that park or that pool. It's not safe. The kids get beat up, parents there or not. Too much crap between kids is going on.
Yeah.
We can all imagine what the crap is. And just living close enough to hear the language that comes out of that pool while the kids are swimming in it disgusts me to be in my own backyard. Because no one's there. It's kind of like the teachers and the principal no longer can yell at the kids or send them to the office or spank them with a ruler. No one at the pool, in charge of the pool, can do anything or is concerned to do something. I respect that. And yet there's not adults there because now it's free. So, hey, it's my afternoon babysitter. Drop them off and run away.
So
Hey.
let's stick to the subject.
So what I'm saying is at some point, it's going to be splash pads, same condition, maybe a pool, maybe not. We need to look at the whole big picture.
Are you going to have like a parks commission or something to look at that?
You're on it.
Oh, wonderful.
That is what I was going to bring up next.
Okay.
Be with the design and layout of that
Idea.
community or management.
That sounds,
Citizen participation is trying to say.
I'd love to be on it because I live right across the street from the park. And so I see what's going on there.
We'd love to have you.
I think, and thank you for that because I think that's a better place for me to ask and get questions answered also.
Okay.
So thank you for your time. I'll be quiet now.
Diane?
I drove down to Linda's house the other day, and the street, it's a single lane street that goes in a circle. There are no sidewalks down there. There's no place for anybody really to walk. So if you start getting a lot of kids down there, and you've got this single lane road that I hear, it's hearsay, that people drive fast around. I just don't see that as a place that I want to spend $950,000.
Will that be something the committee can address?
Yes. Okay, let's get back to the subject.
Okay.
Can I make a comment?
Yes, sir.
So, splash pads are something that my kids have enjoyed for many, many years. We typically have driven into Spokane to go enjoy them. My kids have enjoyed them since they were in diapers and toddlers, and splash pads are great for young children of all ages. Now they are in high school and they still enjoy splash pads. So they really are good for all ages. I've seen a lot of parents playing with them and them. We live not far from Swinyard Park, and so my kids and I are there on a frequent basis. My wife is there on a frequent basis. And we don't feel any concern about being there in that park. There are a lot of things that could be done to make it look better. There's a lot of things that are just not appealing the way they're currently designed. The skate park, the whale house, and some of the pump area that's fenced off there, it just kind of looks really rough. It makes it look uninviting as far as the park itself goes. But having that splash pad there is something new that doesn't look like a petri dish that's been left abandoned would be so nice to have there. So I'm very much in favor of this and would say, let's get that done. So.
Okay. All right, so we'll move on to the third reading, next meeting. Item 10, consent agenda. Letter A, approval of voucher claim check numbers 40909 through 40944 in the amount of $156,929.48 for the first half of February 2023. Item B, approval of payroll checks number 14926 through 14957, including PMFL, 941 taxes, and health benefits in the amount of $139,016.11 for the month of January 2023. Item C, 4th of July display agreement, Rocket Vans Pyros LLC. Item D, Deer Park Municipal Court Airport Use Agreement, Stevens County Sheriff's Department. And item E, Shamrock Glen Third Edition Plat Approval, File LP 2018-1.
Motion to consent agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any comments or questions by the council? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Next up, item 11, report of departments. Jake, we'll start with you, our building code enforcement officer.
Yes, there's a bit in the building world right now. My office is loaded, loaded with commercial projects that are wanting to get started. We've got buildings or parcels that are out for light industrial that are looking at seriously for future building. So there's a lot going on in the commercial world here in the near future. I think we're going to see a big influx of permits come forward to meet the energy code that changes here in July. So I think we'll be busy now until at least then for sure. Everybody trying to get the plans in and approved before that deadline date. So, and that's what I have for the building side.
Thank you, Jake. Roger.
Sure.
So a few things. The Project World North Dalton construction of the building, that is currently out to bid. We'll be opening them up soon and hope to have that recommendation to you for the first meeting in March to get the structure around the wellhead built. Pushing to have that well online by summer. It's going to be a little tough relative to electrical requirements, but anyway, that project's moving along. The airport sewer project, that's use of the EDA funds that we had left over from Cedar Road for the sewer improvements on the airport for all the hangars and so forth. We actually applied for an EDA grant and they opted to allow us to use the balance that we had used for the road project on airport. So that one's out to bid. We're working with EDA on some of the final documents for that project that'll go out as addendums. And then also Debbie and I got noticed again today about another condition document that we have to get signed and back to them. They seem to keep finding these little ones that we have in this overall grant project we got 3 or 4 years ago now, but we're still working on that. The county ARPA funding, that's about $526,000 we got from the county COVID relief funds that will be going towards the sewer treatment lagoon project. That agreement should be before you also in March. We hope to have that draft agreement in place to accept that grant. And from, there's, as Jake said, there's lots in the building world. We also have a second annexation now being looked at besides the one north part of town. Now we have one that has been applied for in the south part of town. We're still going through the documents received. It's land that's in our urban growth area boundary identified for annexation years ago. So we'll take a look at that, and the route would be a petition that they would have to get signed and back to the council to accept and schedule hearings and all those kinds of things. But that recently came in. And then we have 5 different subdivisions that'll have work going on in this summer. One has started up this week. That's one off of 12th and High Desert up by the golf course. So everybody's getting anxious to get to work. I was watching the weather report tonight. It's supposed to get cold next week again and snow, but you know they want to get stuff in the ground, so we have that happening up there. Any questions?
Brad?
I had a question.
Okay, go ahead, Caleb.
Thank you, Roger. I was curious. I was wondering where we were at on the first annexation project. I hadn't heard anything on that front. I assume that's just still in their court, and if they round up enough signatures for their next part, then we move forward.
Yes, they are. They've had, my understanding, they've had a meeting or two with the property owners out there that are included within the annexation boundaries that have dwellings and so forth there. We've been contacted by a couple of them for more information, but they are working towards getting their petition signed to meet the 60% minimum threshold that the state law requires, and I think it'll still be showing up this spring, summer, but it's in their court still.
Okay, great, thank you.
We good?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Brad?
Had a nice break from the snow. It's let the guys have a lot of time in the shop this year to get all of our lawnmowers, weed whackers, all the parks department stuff serviced that, you know, usually we're rushing for in the spring. We've got those all done and ready to go. We've been over in the shop itself, rearranging, cleaning, you know, doing some compliance work with our pesticide storage area, and, you know, just rearranging, kind of redoing the shop. So, and we've been out sweeping, so it's been nice to have a little break to kind of get ahead of the game for once rather than catching up. So,
Yeah, November and December were terrible for you guys.
yeah, we didn't have much time to get anything done except fix equipment those 2 months.
So what projects you got coming up for the summer?
We have, we're gonna do a water main extension going down Park Avenue from Crawford to basically the end of, it would be where 3rd Street is, down by H2O's new building. We're gonna connect the water mains so there's a better loop through there. That's one of the projects we have. We have the new playground equipment coming. It should be here, I'm guessing, end of March. They're talking about.
And that's going to Country Club Park?
Yes, and we did get, the 4 benches did get delivered, the actual benches. We're gonna put the permanently fixed benches we're gonna put around the playground equipment, so there will be seating other than just sitting on the ground. I don't know if we have any other big projects, you know, other than those 2. So other than just the projects that with all the contractors going that we end up involved in.
Okay. Thank you. Council questions, comments, or reports? Heather?
I don't have anything.
Dee, do you have any?
I have, but I'm going to go to the third reading on the ordinance because it's in regards to that.
Okay. Caleb?
Okay?
Nothing for me.
Naomi?
Right now.
Women that don't talk?
We
Careful.
enjoy it. Just for a minute.
Okay, so item 13, interested citizens, oral communications, requests, and comments from the audience on unrelated agenda items, and no chickens. No chickens at this point.
Okay. I have a
We will
question.
start now. Angela had her named up first,
Okay.
but she's not here. Did she? Angela? Okay. Richie was next up.
Okay.
So can I talk about ducks and rabbits?
No, no farm. I should have said no farm animals. Oh, sorry.
I give you a round of applause for that.
What if I classify it as a pet?
So the annexation that's south of town, is that looking like that's another housing development, or?
Currently, in the paperwork, they don't have any plans for building right now. It's all property owned by Parkway Chevrolet.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know, I mean, I can speculate what I think they'll do, but nothing in there says development right yet.
Right,
And they
okay.
have wetlands they have to deal with and
No.
stuff like that. So when they get to that stage of development, they'll have to figure that out. Utility infrastructure, lots of things if it goes.
Okay. The urban growth boundary, that gets updated every few years. Is that coming up soon, or?
It's part, it hasn't been updated because the county got sued the last time around, and they had a mandate through the hearings board of what steps they had to do to solve that. So ours hasn't been amended since the original adoption in the late 90s.
Oh, wow.
This next cycle, which, you know, we're starting our periodic update, and so as we go through that, and we are about a year ahead, well, the county is supposed to be done by 2026. So if there is any boundary amendments that we would propose, we wouldn't see them until 2026. I certainly think we can get our comp plan done sooner than that, and assuming they don't change planning policies on us or rules, then we would have ours done sitting there waiting for the county to do their final decision process.
Thank you.
Diane?
Okay. I have a question about the homelessness. And I saw on the agenda, approved agenda, that someone had been working with the attorney about homelessness. Can you update us on what's going on with that?
We have had one meeting with them, looking at the different amendments and if there's anything that we can do with them. But we're just in that process right now. So we've just been going back and forth and talking, and I don't really have too much of an update yet with that. We're just getting started on it.
I can answer part of that too. Some of that is we need to change our signage in our parks to get it correctly, legally abated.
Yes.
That's one thing that we've been working on.
Right. Okay.
Because Jason's on it, Naomi's on it, and our attorney is on it.
Okay.
I just have a quick question. I know when Jake first came here, he was going around and making people kind of clean up their property. Him and I had a discussion about that. With so much building going on, and I know Roger's schedule is crazy, is anybody doing that anymore? Like, one of the houses down on D Street behind me is just getting out of control again. And I
Old
know
house or
that
new house?
it's an old house.
Old house.
Oh, no, the new houses are beautiful. But, I mean, there's a camper out there, like a camper RV type looking thing. And I just wonder, I know he was working with him, but it seems like it's starting to kind of
Snow.
I was going to say, it seems to be picking up pace again.
Yeah.
What you can do is come down and file a complaint. I believe you can stay anonymous on that.
Yeah, that would be important, because I've
That
got
way-
one on my street too.
That way we have a matter of record. What's that?
Okay.
So that's something you can do. We
Well,
have forms here.
I know he was enforcing it there for a while, but I didn't know if he'd just gotten so busy with all the home building that.
Peaks and valleys.
Well, he still is. I mean, he's not out
David.
patrolling like the deputies do, okay? So it's more of if we're notified of something, or if he's out during inspection at a certain area and he'll see that, then he'll deal with those kind of cases. But yeah, there's plenty for him that he's doing right now. So it's a notification thing as much as anything else.
Well, it just seems like in the spring we get a lot more skunks and raccoons and just, mice, and that comes out of those
Areas.
situations.
Those
And
nice
there's a lot of them that
habitats.
need to be cleaned up.
Last year, there was a letter that went out to some people.
Yeah.
On my street, I know there were 2 individuals that got these letters, which is how I found out about it. About fire hazards, so, clean up your yards, da-da-da-da-da. The 4th of July is coming. I guess what I'm asking is, since these 2 property owners that got these are actually in violation, like Linda's talking about, with the junk and the weeds and everything's beginning to get out of control, were those letters more spotted at them saying, we see you? Or were they really for the fire hazard?
Or are they going to be, is there an ordinance that can be in?
Yeah, Mayor Tim, if I can.
Yeah.
That-
Yeah, Jake.
So those letters were sent to folks. I did a drive around the entire city looking for yards that the grass was of excess height. And where I saw that, I wrote letters to them. It was more of their grass height and just, taking pride in our community and helping us, look good as a city, and asked them to please get their yard cut. To help, obviously, for fire dangers and whatnot, but it wasn't so much the trash, although that's nice. It was more of they're maintaining their grass height. So that's what that was about.
in some situations, Jake, they go in hand, you know? If they don't maintain their lawn, their property, they're not maintaining the junk that builds up. I ask this because I know a person that lives just a half a block away had their house on the market. The prospective buyers put a clause in, neighborhood evaluation, and 48 hours later, they pulled their offer to purchase. Sneakily, we found out why. It's these two homes. They said they didn't want to have anything to do moving on into an area that had these homes like this. So thank you for your work, Jake, and I know how to do anonymous.
So,
Yeah, absolutely. Just please come down and let me know where they're at, and I'll start working on it.
fill out a complaint form.
What about that house on Crawford? in
It's under
Columbia?
litigation.
It's under, oh, okay. Yeah. That's
And
a-
this house over here that burned, is that gonna be the same
As soon as the
situation?
fire people take care, as soon as the insurance company takes care of it, they'll board it up and do what necessary. Jared, the fire marshal's always has been attending that. Brad?
And for Jake too, I have stolen Jake a lot away for parking stuff, for us plowing snow. So we've taken up a bunch of his time for that also, so it's kind of shifted away from that. We're using him for other stuff, and then when we're, we'll go back.
Next up, item 14.
Oh, no, I got something to say. Were you joking about the comment about you didn't want people talking about chickens?
No, this isn't the proper time for it,
Why is that?
because it's not involved in, the council is not involved in that decision-making
But
process.
here's my thing. If it's a public forum, and if someone wants to bring up chickens, or if they think they see dragons flying in the sky, as long as they're not hurting anybody, if they're passionate about a subject that's what they want to say, I don't see the problem with that. This town has a problem with communication. I gotta tell you, I thought that was outrageous. I mean, I may have an opinion about that topic, but if a citizen is concerned, let them view it. You and I have had problems in the past about a couple of things, and I'm noticing some things. Another thing I want to mention, I know this is a small town, and a lot of you are friends. We got 2 women up here that are acting as city council members. And you kind of made a little joke about, oh, women that don't like to talk, or women that don't talk, and you kind of make a joke. I'd like you to remind you of something. You are a mayor of a town of 5,000 people, a lot of women. You have people that watch these on the internet. I don't think that was really professional. I'm sure you didn't mean anything by it. But we're not a country bumpkin town. We are, a true city and a town. But anyway, that's just me. You might have a different leadership style, which I've observed for about 5 years now. If a citizen wants to come up and talk about fireworks, chickens, dragons, I don't know, zombies coming out of the grave, as long as they're not attacking someone or talking about an object or an item on the agenda, give them that time. There's nothing wrong with communication. I criticize you all the time. You never say anything. We've gone back and forth. So if someone's got communication skills, someone's passionate, let them speak, as long as they're not hurting anybody. I really don't appreciate the jokes.
Okay.
That's my comments.
I like it, Jim.
You like it? You like it? Yeah. These 2 are my personal friends also.
Well, that's good.
It's a side joke.
That's great. But think about people that are here that don't know you, don't care to know you or anybody. They're looking at you as a professional. We've talked about council conduct before. That's my comments. That's all I'm going to say now.
Okay, thank you, Brad.
Yeah, thank you.
Anybody else?
It wasn't me this time.
Thank you, Dan. We're adjourned.